You think the world's most terrifying animals are lions, wolves, maybe bears. But what if the strangest creatures on Earth aren't the ones you've seen in movies? What if they're the ones you've never even heard of? A mammal whose tusks grow through its own face, a predator that hunts in trees like a ghost and climbs down head first like gravity doesn't apply to it. These aren't prehistoric fossils. They're alive, right now. And by the end of this video, you might realize something unsettling. Nature is far stranger than fiction. Let's begin. Number 1. Babirusa. In the dense tropical rainforests of Indonesia, particularly on the island of Sulawesi, lives a mammal that looks like evolution made a mistake, the babirusa. At first glance, it resembles a wild pig, but within seconds, you notice something deeply unsettling: the tusks. Unlike normal boars, the male babirusa grows 4 tusks. The lower 2 extend upward in a curved shape, sharp and dangerous. But the upper 2, they grow straight upward from the upper jaw. They don't curve downward like normal tusks. They literally grow upward, pierce through the skin of the snout, and emerge out of the top of the face. As they continue growing, they bend backward in an arc toward the forehead. If not worn down naturally, these tusks can grow so long that they press into the skull itself. In rare cases, they can even penetrate bone. Imagine carrying a weapon that could slowly injure you. Scientists believe these upper tusks are not practical tools for feeding. The babirusa does not dig aggressively like other pigs. Its snout is actually softer and more fragile compared to wild boars. Instead, these tusks evolved primarily for sexual selection and dominance displays. When 2 males compete, they rear up on their hind legs, collide chest to chest, and slash with their lower tusks. The upper tusks likely protect the face during combat, deflecting strikes from opponents. But here's where it becomes even more fascinating. The babirusa is surprisingly agile. It can run quickly through dense forest. It is also an excellent swimmer. Some populations have been observed swimming between small islands, which may explain how they spread geographically across Indonesian archipelagos. Diet-wise, they are omnivores. They consume fallen fruits, leaves, roots, small animals, and occasionally carrion. Unlike typical pigs, they do not root deeply in soil because of their delicate snout structure. Genetically, the babirusa is unique. It diverged from other pig species millions of years ago and evolved in isolation. Today, habitat destruction and hunting have significantly reduced their numbers. They are classified as vulnerable. And yet, despite looking like a creature from a fantasy film, most Americans have never even heard its name. It looks prehistoric, alien, almost unnatural, but it is very real, and it is surviving right now in remote Indonesian forests. Number 2. Fossa. Now travel to Madagascar, an island so biologically isolated that its ecosystem evolved like a separate experiment of nature. At the very top of its food chain stands a predator that few outside wildlife circles recognize: the fossa. At first glance, it resembles a small mountain lion mixed with a mongoose. It has a long, muscular body, short reddish-brown fur, and a tail almost as long as its entire body. But its anatomy reveals something extraordinary. The fossa has semi-retractable claws like a cat. It has flexible joints, and disturbingly, it can rotate its ankles almost 180 degrees. This allows it to climb down trees head first with perfect control. Not awkwardly, not slowly, but smoothly. Madagascar's forests are filled with lemurs, agile primates that spend most of their lives in trees. The fossa hunts them not on open ground, but in the canopy. It leaps between branches, balances using its long tail as a counterweight, grips bark with razor-sharp claws, and chases prey through treetops at high speed. It hunts alone, no pack, no support, just stealth and precision. Its bite force is powerful enough to kill medium-sized mammals. And because Madagascar has no large cats like lions or leopards, the fossa evolved into the island's apex predator. For decades, scientists were confused about its classification. It looks like a cat, it behaves like a cat, but genetically it is more closely related to mongooses. This is a perfect example of convergent evolution, where unrelated species evolve similar traits due to environmental pressures. Culturally, some Malagasy communities once associated the fossa with mystery and fear, believing it to be a dangerous forest spirit. And honestly, if you saw one silently watching you from a tree branch in low light, you might understand why. Today, deforestation in Madagascar threatens its habitat. As forests disappear, so does the territory required for this solitary predator. It is elusive, rarely seen, highly specialized, and outside documentaries, most Americans have never even heard its name. Yet it remains one of the most efficient tree-hunting mammals on Earth.
Number 3. Saiga antelope. If you saw it for the first time, you would probably think it's fake. Its face looks swollen, its nose looks inflated, almost like something edited in Photoshop. But this animal is real, the Saiga antelope. And that strange, oversized nose is not a deformity. It's a survival machine engineered by extreme environments. The saiga lives in the vast steppe grasslands of Central Asia, places like Kazakhstan and parts of Mongolia, where temperatures can drop below freezing in winter and rise to brutal heat in summer. These regions are open, flat, and exposed. There are no thick forests to hide in, no mountains for shelter, only wind, dust, and extreme climate swings. That large, flexible nose acts as a biological filtration system. During summer, when dry winds kick up massive dust storms, the saiga's nose filters out fine particles before they reach the lungs. Inside the nose are complex chambers lined with mucous membranes and blood vessels. In winter, when air temperatures plummet far below freezing, the same nasal structure warms the icy air before it enters the respiratory system. It's like built-in climate control. Evolution didn't make it pretty, it made it functional. But here's where the story becomes darker. In 2015, over 200,000 saiga antelopes died within a matter of weeks. Entire herds collapsed almost simultaneously. The cause was traced to a bacterial infection that became deadly due to unusual humidity and temperature changes. Imagine thousands of these strange-faced creatures scattered across empty grasslands. It was one of the largest sudden die-offs of mammals ever recorded. Today, the saiga is critically endangered. Poaching for its horns, used in traditional medicine, and habitat pressure continue to threaten it. And yet, despite its bizarre appearance and dramatic survival story, most people in America have never heard of it. It looks alien, it survives in extremes, and it is fighting extinction right now. Number 4. Binturong. Now imagine walking through a dense Southeast Asian rainforest at night. You smell something unexpected. Fresh, buttered popcorn. But there's no one cooking, no campsite, no people. That scent is coming above you, from the trees. The animal responsible is called the binturong, also known as the bear cat, though it is neither a bear nor a cat. The binturong lives in the rainforests of countries like Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. It has thick black fur, a heavy body, sharp claws, and glowing eyes adapted for nocturnal life. But what makes it extraordinary is its tail. Unlike most mammals its size, the binturong has a fully prehensile tail. That means it can grip branches with its tail the way monkeys do. It can hang, stabilize itself, balance while climbing. It spends much of its life in trees, moving slowly but confidently through the canopy. Now, about that popcorn smell. Scientists discovered that the binturong produces a chemical compound called 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline. It's the same compound responsible for the aroma of freshly popped popcorn. The binturong uses scent glands located under its tail to mark territory. So when it moves along branches, it leaves behind that buttery scent trail. It's a communication system. But to a human walking below, it feels surreal. A predator in the darkness, announced by the smell of popcorn. Diet-wise, the binturong is omnivorous. It eats fruits, especially figs, which makes it an important seed disperser in rainforest ecosystems. But it also eats birds, fish, small mammals, and carrion. It is strong, heavy, and capable of defending itself. Despite its unusual features, it remains relatively unknown outside wildlife enthusiasts. Deforestation is shrinking its habitat rapidly. As rainforests disappear, so does this strange tree-dwelling mammal that smells like a movie theater snack. It looks mysterious, it smells impossible, and it survives high above the forest floor, mostly unseen.
Number 5. Maned wolf. If you saw its silhouette at sunset, you might think something is wrong with your eyes. It looks like a fox, but then it steps forward, and its legs keep going, long, unnaturally long, almost like the body was placed on stilts. This is the maned wolf. Native to the grasslands and savannas of Brazil, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Argentina, the maned wolf is the tallest wild canid in the world. Its legs can be over 3 feet tall at the shoulder. But here's the strange part. It is not a wolf. It is not a fox. It is not closely related to either. It is the only surviving species in its entire genus. Evolution created this design and left it alone. Those long legs are not random. They are perfectly adapted for tall grass ecosystems. The maned wolf hunts in open savannas where grass can grow chest-high. With its height, it can see above vegetation while stalking prey. It hunts small mammals like rodents, birds, and rabbits. But unlike most predators, nearly half of its diet is plant-based. It eats fruits regularly, especially a fruit known as the wolf apple, which helps control parasites in its digestive system. So it's a predator that self-medicates with fruit. And then there's something even stranger. Zoos around the world have reported visitors complaining about a strong smell of marijuana near the maned wolf enclosure. After investigation, they discovered the scent comes from the animal's urine. It contains chemical compounds that closely resemble the smell of cannabis. Imagine walking through a zoo and thinking someone is smoking, only to find out it's coming from a rare South American predator. The maned wolf is solitary. It does not form packs like wolves. It communicates through deep, booming barks that can travel long distances across open plains. At night, it moves quietly through golden grasslands, almost ghost-like in appearance. Deforestation and agricultural expansion are shrinking its habitat, and despite its unforgettable appearance, most Americans have never seen one outside a wildlife documentary. It looks digitally stretched, but it is perfectly engineered for survival. Number 6. Tibetan fox. Now imagine staring into the face of a fox and feeling slightly uncomfortable, not because it's aggressive, but because something about it looks wrong, too symmetrical, too square, too still. This is the Tibetan fox. It lives high on the Tibetan Plateau, one of the harshest environments on Earth. Altitudes above 13,000 feet, thin oxygen, freezing winds, brutal winters. Most animals struggle to survive there. The Tibetan fox thrives. Its thick fur protects it from extreme cold. Its compact ears reduce heat loss. But the feature that made it famous online is its face. Wide,
almost rectangular, with a strangely calm, almost judgmental expression. Unlike the sharp, playful look of a red fox, the Tibetan fox appears emotionless. It doesn't look curious, it looks calculating. Its primary prey is the pika, a small rabbit-like mammal that lives in burrows across the plateau. The Tibetan fox doesn't waste energy chasing wildly. It stands still for long periods, watching, listening, then suddenly lunges with precision. It often hunts near larger predators like brown bears, taking advantage of disturbed prey. This shows intelligence and energy efficiency, critical traits for survival in oxygen-poor environments. Unlike forest foxes, it does not rely on stealth through vegetation. There is almost no vegetation. It survives in open, exposed terrain where hiding is nearly impossible. So it relies on patience, stillness, timing. It forms monogamous pairs during breeding season, raising pups in underground dens carved into the harsh earth. Its thick winter coat makes it look almost oversized, adding to its surreal appearance. Wildlife photographers often say that seeing one stare directly at you feels strangely human, almost like it's analyzing you. Despite going viral in memes due to its square face, most people still know nothing about its survival strategies. It is not just an internet joke, it is a high-altitude specialist, engineered for one of the toughest ecosystems on Earth. Cold, silent, unblinking, and very real.
Number 7. Bush dog. Deep in the rainforests of Central and South America lives one of the least known predators on Earth, the bush dog. Most people have never heard of it, and that's exactly how it survives. At first glance, it looks small, almost harmless, short legs, rounded ears, dark brown fur. But this is not a cute forest puppy. This is a highly coordinated pack hunter. Unlike wolves that dominate open land, bush dogs hunt inside dense jungle terrain where visibility is low and escape routes are limited. They don't chase for long distances. They corner, they surround, they close in silently. Bush dogs have partially webbed feet, allowing them to swim with surprising speed. If prey escapes into water, the hunt continues. Their jaws are incredibly strong for their size, capable of crushing bone and taking down animals much larger than themselves. And here's the disturbing part. When they hunt in groups, they communicate with high-pitched whistles instead of howls, almost like signals in the dark. You won't hear a dramatic roar. You won't hear warning growls. Just quiet movement, and then it's too late. This small, forgotten predator operates like a jungle commando unit, and most people don't even know it exists. Number 8. Greater Grisson. In the remote forests and grasslands of Central and South America lives a predator so bold, so fearless, that even larger animals avoid it. This is the greater Grisson. At first glance, it looks like a strange mix between a ferret and a miniature badger. Long body, short legs, sharp face, a thick stripe of gray fur running from head to tail like a warning sign. But this small carnivore has an attitude far bigger than its size. Growing up to around 2 feet long, the greater Grisson is fast, flexible, and incredibly aggressive when threatened. It hunts rodents, birds, reptiles, and even animals close to its own size, and it doesn't hesitate. What makes it shocking is its confidence. Unlike many small predators that avoid confrontation, the greater Grisson will stand its ground. It bares its teeth, hisses loudly, and releases a powerful musky odor to intimidate enemies. But intimidation is not its only weapon. It has extremely sharp teeth designed for slicing flesh and a strong bite force relative to its size. When it attacks, it goes straight for the neck. It moves low to the ground, almost snake-like, weaving through vegetation silently before launching a sudden strike.
And here's what makes it even more dangerous. It has been known to attack prey in burrows, forcing its way into tight spaces, dragging animals out with brutal efficiency. Small, fast, fearless, and almost completely unknown to most of the world.
Number 9. Eye. Deep in the rainforests of Madagascar, there exists a creature that looks like it crawled straight out of a horror story, the eye. At first glance, it resembles a large, scraggly rodent crossed with a monkey. Thin, wiry black fur, huge luminous eyes adapted for nocturnal life, long skeletal fingers, especially the third finger, which is unnaturally elongated and almost translucent. That finger is its ultimate survival tool. The eye taps on tree trunks to detect hollow spaces inside. Then it gnaws a hole in the wood with its ever-growing incisors, and finally, it uses that thin, specialized finger to extract insect larvae. This is called percussive foraging, a technique unique among primates. It's like a living, walking woodpecker with hands. Despite its harmless diet, local folklore once labeled the eye as an omen of death. Villagers believed that if the eye pointed at someone, misfortune would follow. Because of this, it was hunted and killed in some areas, despite being completely non-aggressive. Diet-wise, the eye is insectivorous and frugivorous. It also consumes seeds, nectar, and fungi. Its nocturnal habits and unique foraging method make it a critical part of Madagascar's ecosystem, controlling insect populations and dispersing seeds. Extremely elusive, extremely rare, and scientifically fascinating. Most Americans have never even seen it in pictures. It looks like a nightmare, but it is an evolutionary marvel. Number 10. Solenodon. Now, prepare for a mammal so rare and bizarre that scientists once thought it might have gone extinct millions of years ago. The Solenodon. Found only in the Caribbean islands of Hispaniola and Cuba, this nocturnal insectivore looks like a mix between a large shrew and a small rat, with venom. Yes, venom. It delivers toxic saliva through grooved lower incisors to paralyze its prey, usually insects, worms, and small vertebrates. No other mammal in the Western Hemisphere has this trait. The Solenodon has remained virtually unchanged for over 76 million years. It is considered a living fossil, representing an ancient branch of mammalian evolution. With its elongated snout and flexible nose, it hunts mostly at night. It can sniff out prey under soil, leaf litter, or fallen logs. Its body is covered with coarse, dark brown fur. It has a long, thin tail and short legs adapted for burrowing and nocturnal movement. Extremely shy and elusive, the Solenodon is rarely seen, even by scientists. Deforestation and introduced predators have made it critically endangered. Yet despite its small size, it plays a critical ecological role, controlling insect populations and maintaining soil health. Imagine a creature alive today that has survived mass extinctions, predators, and human colonization, and still walks silently under the cover of night, venomous and mysterious. It looks unreal, it is ancient, and most people on Earth have never heard its name.